What inspires you to create a story? Where does the spark come from? Did it come from something you saw and fell in love with? An idea? Maybe a concept? Maybe someone? It's never easy to bring something into existence, but as long as you have the spark, it will be enough to light your whole path.
Hola, I'm Val, and today I'm gonna be your, I would say guide, but I prefer to call it partner in this creative journey. So, the drink of today is, I don't know what this is, but it's pretty. The bag says that it's from Turkey, and it says Spice and Tea Shop, but it doesn't say what tea it is. It's okay, we don't judge. So while I'm preparing this, let's talk about today's video, which is creating stories from scratch. We can create stories from anything. They can be about something that happened to you this week, or someone you saw on the streets, or just your feelings like anger, sadness, happiness, or maybe just because you had an assignment due on Sunday and you needed to deliver something. Characters are not born like people, of women. They are born of a situation, a sentence, a metaphor, containing in a nutshell a basic human possibility that the author thinks no one else has discovered or said something essential about. It's easier said than done, but how on earth do we begin? You already have the sparkle, a quote, an anecdote, an image, or an idea. And now you only have to develop it, and the best way to develop it is to imagine it. Every process is different and you have to find what suits you best. But when I write stories, I always follow a series of steps and it works for me. It's ready. So let's check them out, shall we?
And we're back with the blackness again. I know. I swear it's not lazy editing. But listen to me for a second. People always talk about the zone, the mind palace, the meditative space. I just call it the void. And I like this name because it's a safe space, empty. It's perfect to fill it with things. And what I usually do is put on my headphones and start walking in circles around my house, annoying my family. Or sometimes I start writing on a wall like I'm doing a conspiracy theory. You have to find your own safe space. Think a lot about your story, what you want to create. It doesn't need to be polished, just a general idea. Experiment with your surroundings. Make some time to look for it. And remember that we all need the void. Not just for writing, but also for being at peace.
This is yours, by the way. Sorry to pull you out of there, but this is a more general topic now. Now let's be a bit more serious and a bit more technical for a moment. Platforms. We have the concept, the general idea, but before we start adjusting details, we need to find which platform works best for us, because the storytelling changes a lot depending on the platform. Think about what you want to create. If you're more visual, maybe choose photography or video, or maybe you have a very defined narrative or a world that is too complex. For Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, we needed the books first to establish the worlds. Some stories are best told in words. If that's your case, then write. Or maybe you just like to talk a lot, like me.
Then a sound story or a podcast can work better. This one also applies to people who think more about the ambience and the surroundings than the visuals and the storyline.
There is no specific rule. You can combine many things, you just have to find your perfect formula. We already have all of this. Now the next step is to start structuring it. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to start with characters. At this point, we need to think who's going to lead the story. And once again, we need to imagine. You can start imagining him, her, or them in a situation, a space, a sword fight, lost in the woods, or just sleeping. But your character can also be yourself or even an object. When it's yourself, it's more related to your personal brand, so you need to think who you are and why you do the things you do. Basically, get to know everything about yourself. With an object, you need to think more about what you want to show. In a photo, for example, you need to see the object as someone. My favorite commercials and object photographs are usually the ones of the perfumes, because even though they're just objects, they have a very defined personality. Like, look at this. This is not a perfume. This is a fairy. When I'm thinking about my characters, I usually try to think about how they would look like, or what they would feel, or what they're thinking. And there are many ways to brainstorm this. I love to do mood boards, but some people just draw or make sketches of their characters. You can start by writing their names or their personality traits or their zodiac signs if you're into that. I've also seen some people make Spotify playlists for their characters, so do whatever you like, as long as it gives essence to your idea. And that, my friends, is the end of the tea. Of course, there are more elements that you need to take into account. Stories are complex and the details matter a lot. But don't rush, we'll get there. So join me next time for a new adventure. We have free weird drinks and a lot of imagination. Goodbye and buen viaje.